eyes open. If you got, stay strapped before you die smoking. All 3 eyes, I keep my eyes open. Ain't no competition, I'm God's chosen. All 3 eyes, I keep my eyes open. If you got, stay strapped before you die smoking. All 3 eyes, I keep my eyes open. Ain't no competition, I'm God's chosen. I can't hide my face from my people in the revolution. I gotta get out, help them get the retribution. Give my contribution, keep my heart daily. And even if they don't pay me, I do it crazy. For free, be what we gotta be. Not the army, but it's you and me. Black Panther, Black Power, we ride it. Understand, gotta help out or reside it. Gotta build in the home, build our domes. Build with the knowledge, fuck college. Yeah, fuck that bullshit, let's get rich. Understand, gotta live it. And got 3 eyes, I keep my eyes open. If you got, stay strapped before you die smoking. All 3 eyes, I keep my eyes open. Ain't no competition, I'm God's chosen. All 3 eyes, I keep my eyes open. If you got, stay strapped before you die smoking. All 3 eyes, I keep my eyes open. Ain't no competition, I'm God's chosen.
Peace, love, life, and balance. Welcome to Universoul Balance, Universoul. Coming to you live, this Chief Jamal Cannon. Coming to you live, and I want to talk today about the difference between a Googler and a researcher. Okay, because a lot of y'all think that because you're Googling stuff and you can find information that may be accurate, that you're a researcher and you're not. Okay, so when you're a researcher, what you're doing is research. Now let's go into, now you have the definition, but I'm going to go into the actual definition. I'm going to use the technique, the root-based technique of the word. And we're going to let's go to research, reconvene, or to do again, to go over again, search. So when you're Googling, you're looking at a controlled source of information. Now, there's a lot. What happened was mid 2000s, early 2000s, a lot of information, because the internet went, with the advent of YouTube and other platforms, but specifically YouTube, people was able to put out information, and it was information that we were finding out that was long lost secrets or things that never was meant to be learned before. And it was getting out, and it was actually fulfilling a prophecy when you look into Ezekiel about the knowledge will increase. Now, when you think about, when you add that up with the fact that you had these different platforms and you had this technology that was speeding ahead, they had to come up with something to help control it, or to help subsidize it, or to help dilute it. So what they did was they came up with what I'm using right now, the so-called smartphone. Just because all the smartphone has done is made us more dumb. Now, the smartphone can be used as a tool. I'm using it right now to get this message to you guys. So these tools can be used. But what happened was that there's another scripture that says that I'm not quoting it verbatim here. I'm kind of going off the wind here, but there's another scripture that talks about having plenty books, having a lot of knowledge, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. And it's also another scripture that says knowledge puffeth up, meaning that too much knowledge, you can explode. It's like if you go to a buffet, you eat too much food and you just overload with food and explode. Well, that's what happens when you get too much knowledge. Your brain is not made to retain a lot of, it's only made to retain so much knowledge. I mean, we do have a capacity within our thinking system. That's why we have to renew our minds. We have to refurbish our minds. We can't just throw in knowledge and throw in knowledge. We have to be efficient with our thinking, and use what's useful. So what happened was they invented around, maybe a little off on the time, like I said, I'm kind of going off the wind here, around 2008, 2009. I want to say around that area, you got the invention of the smartphone, which came out. Now you have phones at the end, you have Blackberries, but the smartphone was a whole nother level. You basically had a computer within your hand. You could research things, and more information was coming out. But by that time, they had taken years. They had said that they can't get what's out there, what the powers that be, they at least figured out. And what you guys are not figuring out is that what they figured out was that the information about our societies, about how we run things, is out there right now. So we can't, it's already out there. Once something's out, it's already out. So what they said, they understood that the science of the human brain worked. And they understood those scriptures because but this is what I talk about. This is not a religious channel, but what I tell you guys is that is the playbook of how society is run. You can be an atheist and still understand how the scriptures are used. It's a non-religious book. Once you get past the allegories and the symbolism, it's a very non-religious book. It's the laws of the universe. It's how the universe works. And like I always say, that all these other books quote the Bible, wherever you want, and I study all of them. The New Malish, the Quran, the Book of the Dead, they all quote the Bible, but the Bible doesn't quote them. No matter what you want to say or argue about it. Like I said, we don't debate religion and all that stuff because I'm a non-religious person, but I do understand how the world works. What they understood was that instead of trying to take back that information that's already out there, could be verified, what we're going to do that's much more smarter is we're going to overload them with information. We're going to give so much information and so much access that they cannot, their brains will be able to handle it. Only a select few will be able to figure that out. Only a elect few will be able to decipher what is useful and what is not useful, what is real and what is not real. So what happened was you saw more platforms coming. You saw Twitter, you saw Facebook blowing up. MySpace basically went out. You got Instagram, now you got Twitter, now you got Twitch, you got Snapchat. The list goes on and on. They're still coming because they understood the science of how the brain works. The brain is not made to and if you notice, like TikTok, all of these platforms, the time to consume them is a lot shorter because they understand that if you your brain's not made to consume a bunch of small thoughts at one time. When you're looking on your timeline and you see a video of Cardi B, then you see someone talking about the election, then you see a post about someone's relationship, then you see a post, even if you're constantly skipping over it. That's why I say limit your time on social media. Your brain is automatically trying to compute that. There's nothing you can do about that. You have reflectors when you see things that go into your mind and it tries to break it down, whether consciously or subconsciously, and sometimes both. So you're overloading yourself with all this information and none of it has anything to do with just, you can't put it all together. You may constantly try to latch on to certain things, but you cannot actually put it all together. So therefore you're ever, like the scripture says, you have plenty of books, but never come into the knowledge of the truth. And I'm gonna get into that word books, to break down that word books, but the books it's talking about is not just a book, how you mean written. A book is just a testimony. Okay, a book is just a written testimony. So when you go on Facebook or Twitter or whatever you're on, or Insta, whatever, you're seeing a bunch of books, many books, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. You're getting this fact, you're getting that meme, and you're never getting to the knowledge and the root of the actual truth. Or when you're Googling, you're Googling one thing, but you're seeing this and this and this and this and that. You're not getting to the root of the actual truth. So you got to understand that real research requires diligence. It requires you to refine and to actually use less information and to be specific on one topic than going to the next. It's going from point to point, line upon line, precept upon precept. That's not just talking about reading the Bible, family. That's how you supposed to study, period. You're not supposed to consume all of the stuff that you saw. You know how many times I post messages or post facts on Facebook, and then somebody, they got all this information that they seen or Google, they're going off the news, and they try to walk in and try to like make me look stupid, but not knowing that I'm very real research. I'm a 17-year scholar, and I try to be nice, but sometimes I end up getting embarrassed. And I'm not a debateful person, but I have to put them to the side, say sister or brother. I might inbox them or whatever and just give them the facts, or I might even have to block them if it's just too hostile, because I can't let them poison the people I'm trying to reach. So we got to understand the difference. When you're Googling, think about it, Googling eyes. Googly eyes are all over the place. That's why it's called Google, because it's all over the place. You're all over the goddamn place. You're not researching shit. Now, can it be used for a tool for research? Absolutely. It's the Oracle. You can find anything on the internet. You got to know, but they understood that. In addition to giving you all the information, they stopped letting you can no longer just Google a topic and get it. You have to Google a specific. They hide certain things in the searches. They when the smartphone came out, that was their checkmate, because before the smartphone, you could Google something, a topic, and you'll get the whole everything about the topic. Now you Google something, you don't get everything. You got to Google. Let's say if you're Googling how to survive in the woods with just how to survive in the woods with just water and trees or whatever. You got to Google how to survive. You can't just, you can just Google that back in the day and you'll get every list and everything on how to survive with just the water and trees. Now you got to Google, if you want to know something specific, well, you got to Google how to survive with water and trees on a sandy beach or this. You got to be real specific versus them giving you all the information right there. So they not only give you a lot of information, but they hide the information. So you might have to Google it specific to what you're trying to find. To find it, you have to break through the Google. You have to, when something's Googling, you gotta focus in, like glasses, goggles out of focus. You gotta focus the glasses in. That's how you use it. But you won't know that if you don't know basic elemental science. If you don't know basic elements of the topic you're researching. If you're trying to figure out a cardiovascular problem that you're having or issue, you're not going to just go on. Some of you think you can just go on Google and you're a doctor all of a sudden. Now you figured it out because you Googled it all. You might get some answers that help you, but you're going to be missing some parts because you haven't done the work or the real research on how to deal with that. So you need a specialist to help you deal with that. Now you're going to be a lot farther than people who didn't have it, but you're not going to get everything. Some of you may get lucky and get something, and then maybe something minor, but if it's something major, you're not gonna be able to find everything right then and there on the internet. You're gonna have to actually seek out a specialist. And that's how it is with every topic and every subject we deal with. You have to seek out specialists. So if I post something or something like that, I'm posting something that I have a strategy. Most things I don't know about, but the things I do know about, I will talk about. So if you're gonna come against me about something I'm talking about, you better have, if you're only Googling, you might be in trouble. Because I still go to the library. A lot of things that's in books is not on Google. You might be able to Google the book and order the book, but it ain't. You got to actually go in the book. You got to research. You got to know what the bibliography is. You got to look at the sources of the book, because some of you guys are so conditioned that you think because it's in a news article in the book, it's automatically true. You have to understand elemental science. Okay, elemental mathematics, how things work on a basic level before you can compare against. You have a foundation to compare it against. Basic health principles, whatever. You have to understand the basics of that thing, or get somebody who does, or have the materials. You got to source what you're reading. You can't just read something because it's on the internet and think that it's fact. You got to be able to source it. Okay, you have to be able to go to that source and then go to the source of that source. Y'all not doing that. You finding memes that you like, and you're Googling certain things. You read certain things that you agree with, and you think, oh, I'm an expert now. That's not researching. That's not getting to the bottom of a matter. That's not having a theory and having a hypothesis and then forming a conclusion. That's just, let me just take this and this and that. Sounds good. Let me put it together. Let me make it happen. That's what a lot of y'all are doing. And you think that you're smarter, but you're actually a lot dumber, because those of us who actually do research look at you and see how unlearned you are. Unfortunately, people out there don't know that. So because they agree with you, they may jump on you. It's content creators that got a bunch of garbage that they spew, and they spew it as facts. They even have data, but they don't understand how the data was taken. That's another thing with data. If I'm surveying, I get this analogy all the time. If we're in the mall, let's say like I have on all black. Let's say I'm with 4 other people that have on all black. And we walk into a mall. This mall has 100 stores. No one else in the mall is wearing all black. Okay? No, but we walk into one store. Someone's doing a survey. They walk into and the guy, the owner, he's wearing white, whatever. Someone only walks into that store or the mall. He sees us 4 with black. The one owner wearing white. So what he says, and he walks out the mall and says that 80% of the people at this mall wear black. But he didn't even go into any of the other stores. He only went to that one store and walked out. So 80% where, and his statistics are right. 80% of people that he saw in that mall was wearing black, but not 80% of the people within that mall. A lot of data is contrived or basically taken from sample sizes. You guys don't look up any or ask any of those questions. You just run with whatever fits your feelings, because we're a feelings-based society. We got to stop doing that. Those of us who wish to elevate and have true balance, remember, extremes are given to you for you can be ruled over. If you can make a choice, they can know how to rule you over. When you live in a ruling mentality, which is what I teach, a ruling class mentality, you're not able to be ruled because you understand that two things could be mutually true. Two things could be mutually wrong. That you don't have to always pick a side. That sometimes you don't have to do anything. Sometimes you do have to pick a side. The only side that you always have to pick is truth. That's the only extreme you pick is truth, and do that at all costs. So with that being said, peace, love, life, and balance, family. Peace. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, share the video. Need support. Big ups to those who do. Peace and love, life and balance.